everybody. For today's video, I'm going to be showing you my newest gun haul. This has been pretty much every gun I've bought since the last time I did one of these videos. And I guess I'll just jump right into it with this bad boy right here. This is the BFR by Magnum Research. Absolutely very large gun. The cylinder on this thing is ridiculous. This, he gave me a really good deal on it. It was brand new. But this is also chambered in 500 Magnum. My Smith & Wesson is like an 8-inch barrel, so this has another 2 inches on that barrel. I want one. I've always wanted one of these, and to be honest, I want one in kind of like an obscure caliber, like 30-30 or something, 444 Marlin. But this was at the shop, and if you can just I don't know what to compare it to, but it is just such a large, very large gun. Side gates. Now you'll notice 500 Magnum is not this large of a cartridge for the cylinder. They call it a 4570 style cylinder, but I feel like it only honestly could fit 4570 in this thing. Just absolutely monstrous gun. So the story behind this, he had one. It was like, I think 6 inches. So it was like a little 6-inch barrel. It had pearl grips, and it was chambered in 500 line ball. Actually, my dad wanted that one. But in the time, my dad went on vacation, and in the time he was on vacation, another gentleman came in, and he was like, "Oh, I'm actually looking for that exact same gun." So my gun shop guy called and asked if my dad cared if that one was sold. He's like, "Nah, not really." And then this one came in, and I bought it before he could. So there'll probably be more BFRs in the future. But this thing is just absolutely, I don't even think the camera can really do it justice on just how big this gun is. Now I had some lighter, 275 green, 500 Magnum, and with a 10-inch barrel, it was actually very pleasant to shoot. I've been shooting like 440 green hard casts out of my 8-inch Smith & Wesson, and that is a lot of gun. So the 275 green actually wasn't bad at all. The ergonomics of this grip are a little weird. It's kind of hard to show, but overall, really cool gun. And what I want to do, I don't even know if they still do it. I think like Kentucky Ballistics and Demolition Ranch got big 22-inch barrels with their BFRs, and I think that would go along nicely with my Heritage Rough Rider that I have. That's 16-inch 22. So I'm getting ahead of myself, but this behemoth was in stock, and it got added to the collection. I will set that boy aside. What else? Here, I'll just do these next two real quick, just because they haven't been on one of these style videos, like the gun hauls that I've been doing, but I did throw them in my gun shop roleplay video, so I'll just real quick with these two. This is a 43X I just recently bought. I gave it the Shield Arms mag release and the Shield Arms mag. I'll show you, they are unloaded. But it's a 15 round magazine. And with this mag release, it works very nicely. I won't try to do that, but just another carry gun. I plan on putting a light and buying a holster for it, but just another carry gun for the future. And then this bad boy, again, also unloaded. This one, my brother owed me some money, so he sold me his 365 XL, and my gun shop had these macro frames, so I put I basically made this a macro. So it is the big 17 round magazines, and I mean, it's essentially a macro now. And I believe at SHOT Show they actually unveiled a model that looks just like this. For those who don't know, the macro has, like, it's compensated in the slide, but I don't know. So I just made my own macro, long story short. What's next? I'm trying to keep it interesting. I'll just show you these guns are unloaded. So this bad boy right here is, I have a 1911, but let me tell you, in person, this thing is just absolutely beautiful. This, I don't know how well it'll show up. This is a Series 70 Colt Gold Cup National Match, and it is just absolutely, it is absolutely stunning. And it is, I'll cock the hammer back, but it is really smooth. I'm not trying to be too loud, but I have not shot this one yet. I do plan on shooting it, but I mean, like the grips on it, and very smooth gun. And just, I mean, there's nothing really like that special about it. It's 45 ACP, but I mean, it just looks absolutely stunning. The slide's super smooth on it, and it's just one that I just had to add to the collection. Moving on. Get a little fancy with it here. So this bad boy, I like, okay, so I'm going to set this down for 30 seconds here. I like, and you'll see with one of the other guns that I have here, I like older guns that still function. I bought a 38, it was a 38 special INA Brazilian revolver, and it was like from the 70s, and it didn't work. One of the cylinders would get like caught up, and I was never comfortable shooting it, never comfortable. My gunsmith was he's always so backed up. So I sat on it for a year, and then I just got rid of it not too long ago. Actually for that 43X, but I like older guns, especially something like this that's chambered in unique calibers, and I like them to be functioning. So, and what I mean is, this right here fits almost all of my criteria. This is an actual, I don't know if you can even see it. It's the DWM. Or is it DMW? It's DWM. This is an actual German Luger. It is 1920s. Sometime in the 1920s this was made. And it is an actual German. It's not a war Luger, but it is a 1920s German commercial Luger. So it is still 100 years old. And it is chambered in, which you can't tell, you probably can't tell by looking at the mag, 30 Luger. It is a very, I don't have any, because we shot it all out, but it's a very cool, weird, like a 9mm, but it's necked down weird. You'll have to Google it, but I mean, this right here fits all my criteria. It is old. It's 100 years old. Still shoots great, and it's chambered in something 30 Luger, or 7.65 Parabellum for those who care. So this is like the kind of thing I absolutely love. I don't know if I can do this quietly. I mean, that's how you just pull back on. Alright, so I went to cock it, and it was way too loud when I pushed it down. But as I was saying, this is the kind of gun that I really like. And you can take this little side plate off to see like serial numbers. It is actually all matching original serial numbers, which is really cool. The only thing that's not original is this mag. I guess it didn't have the original mag to it, but to be honest, that's I could care less. The gun itself's original, so really cool. I didn't have a Luger in my collection, and like I said, this thing's pretty sweet. I guess that's all I'll say on that one. Next up, again, I'll drop the mag and show you that the guns are clear. This bad boy, pretty heavy. It's a CZ Shadow 2. I don't really know, like, I mean, it's technically, I think this one's meant for, like, competition use, so it's got, like, this extended mag release. It's got these beautiful grips. I love these things. It is very heavy, so I would assume, I haven't shot this one yet. And again, I don't know exactly how this works. So this one in particular is a 9mm, and if you look on the mag here, it says 9mm 17 rounds. But if you go to the flip side, it says 12 rounds of 40. So it's my impression that this is it just uses the same mag. You're still gonna have to buy like a barrel and whatnot differently, but I don't know. But it is a big, heavy, like competition style gun. But I absolutely love the feel of it, and I mean, to be honest, it's kind of just another 9mm, which I try to stay away from. But I think this one was different enough that I decided to put it in the collection. You know, like, I mean, like something like the Glock 43X. It's a good carry gun. but I have enough carry guns at this point. I just traded my 7mm Mauser and my 38 Special because both of those needed work, and my gunsmith was too busy to work on them, so I traded them for a working brand new gun. And I didn't mention this was the MOS version. You could put a sight on there. But I have enough of just this. Nothing wrong with Glock. I love Glock. But it's just another semi-automatic 9mm black, and it's just very generic. I have enough of these just generic 9mm at this point. I felt like this one, competition, got the cool blue grips. It feels fantastic. I felt like this was different enough to warrant a purchase. So, I'll set this bad boy aside. Alright, so, gather round, I have a little tale for you. So I've always wanted one of these. I'll just bring it out. This was I believe it was an 1858 .44 caliber black powder revolver. I've always wanted one, just to have something in black powder, and I don't know much about black powder. I've been doing some Googling and whatnot. So my local gun shop, as you can see with some of the stuff I've showed you, like the Luger, he gets a lot of people die, or people shot a gun one time, put it in the back of their safe for 20 years, and then want to sell it now. He gets all sorts of different transactions for used guns. And this was one of the weirder stories I've heard. So he had two of these. Me and my brother bought one together. So the guy did shoot it a little bit, and I don't think the guy knew exactly what he was doing. So he shot 20 rounds, and then sold his two guns. They were the exact same gun, and all his black powder supplies back to my gun shop. And then we came in, and basically, like I said, this thing was shot about 20 times. And what's weird to me is the supplies he sold back to the gun shop clearly show that he has no idea what he was doing. Now, before I bought this gun, like I said, I always wanted a black powder. Anything, just to have one. Before I bought this, I was very, very clueless about black powder. And it took all of about 5 minutes of looking at the manual for this thing and just Googling to realize that the supplies that he sold with it were totally weird and wrong. So first off, this is a .44 caliber. What they recommend in the manual that he sold back with the gun shop, to the gun shop, it recommends .454 caliber balls. That way, when you pack it down, it has a nice seat. He shot about 2451 balls, which you can do. Technically, there's nothing wrong with that, but it doesn't sit very well in the cylinder, and you either have to really pack it down, or potentially they can just fall right out. So he always had the wrong ball to begin with. And one of the balls he sold back, if I can move this without making a crap ton of noise, these are .49 balls, which again Took all of about 5 minutes of Googling to realize that those are meant for 50 caliber guns and not 44 caliber guns. So, and again, I counted the number of balls. He bought 100 of them, of the 4.51s, and shot about 20. I don't know if he bought those and realized his mistake, or if he just got very lucky and never shot them out of this. I don't know. But there is no way that those balls would fit in this gun at all. The percussion caps he had on the back. And again, I had no knowledge about black powder before I bought this. Literally in the span of about 15-20 minutes, I discovered almost all the supplies he had was wrong for this gun. So he had number 10 caps on the back of this, and even when I just put it, I haven't shot this yet, but even when I just put them on the back to just play around, they just fell right off. And I did some Googling, and you actually need number 11 percussion caps on the back. Because again, you're just like lightly sitting it on the top. You're not actually like, so he had the wrong balls, the wrong caps. He did have the right patches. There's little patches that go down in there. And again, if you know from Googling this thing, I'll show you I don't even know if you can see them. There's a BZ and a PN. Now from Googling this, my gun shop seemed to think this gun is from around the 70s. But when I was Googling it, supposedly I forget either the BZ or the PN meant this gun was from 05. But then again, when you look at like this is the Hornady ammo that he sold with the box. There's the balls for anyone who's never seen black powder balls. This box looks way older than 2005. So I could be wrong. This could be 05, but if you know anything about this, let me know. I just wanted something. Supposedly it's a very fun gun to shoot. Makes a lot of smoke everywhere when you shoot it because it's powder. Supposedly it's just a fun thing to shoot. You can pack it down when it's in the gun like this, or how I'm going to do it and how it's recommended to me. I'm not going to half cock it. There you go. Is to just take the whole cylinder out. You put your powder in. I'm going with the little patches that he sold us, and then your ball. But you're going to pack all that down, put a cap on the back here, do that 6 times, and then you just totally didn't just drop the cylinder here. But you're going to do all that, and then you're going to put this back in the gun, shoot, and then if you had to reload, you would just have more of these loaded, ready to go in your pockets. Again, I believe this one was an 1858 model. So it is not actually that old, but it is based off of that. So that's what you had to do in like the 1850s, like Civil War era. That's how you had to reload it. And to be honest, going from like muzzle loaders, this was pretty intuitive. I mean, this was the latest and greatest at the time. So I now have .49 balls, so I'm thinking about buying a 50 caliber black powder just to have one. But regardless, I'm in the black powder game now, and hopefully it's fun. And again, if you know anything about this, let me know. Like I said, like year-wise, yeah. Let me see if I can do this next one. I got 2 left. Let me see how well I can do this next one here. So this thing is this is another gun that if you know anything about, I'll happily take information on. I'll tell you all the information that I know, and then if there's anything you know that I either got wrong or you want to add something to, or you know something else about this thing, let me know, because I have Googled it, and there doesn't seem to be many of these out here. So this, and you'll know, if you do know this gun, you'll notice by this little, if I can do this quietly, this little side gate here. There you go. This is a 1898 Springfield Krag Jorgensen. Now, I'm not going to be able to put all this in the frame, so I'll just do it like that. Now, what's interesting about this gun in particular, I'll start off with this. It is to my knowledge that this gun, while it's not all original, it is an 1898. It is a 5-digit serial number. It is my knowledge, after looking up serial numbers on it, that this is a genuinely, like some guns, their models, like the black powder gun I showed you, it's a model 1858, but it was actually made well after that. Looking up serial numbers on this, it's my knowledge, it's my understanding that this is actually from 1898. There's a chart I found online that says the years are based off of like the fiscal year. So this thing was actually technically made in 1897, but the fiscal year had already traveled over to 98, so that's why they made this a 98 model. So it is my understanding that this is an actual 1898 gun, so 120 years. Which I find fascinating because I loved Red Dead Redemption 2, and this would actually put this gun around that time period. Also, you'll notice that this has peep sights on it, which I think are really cool and work very well for this gun. Now, what is interesting about this gun to me is typically when you see an 1898 Krag Jorgensen, and you can identify those by this little side gate here, how you load them, typically they are chambered in 3040 Krag. This, however, and again, I don't know much about it because I guess a lot of guns, people did convert them, but they're not exactly like that many that converted that I cannot Google this. But this gun was converted to 405 Winchester. Now, from what I can tell, Hornady makes the ammo for it still, but it looks like they only make it probably a handful of times a year. So, I do not have any ammo for it. I guess the gentleman that did own this gun was an NRA director, and he unfortunately passed away. So his family sold a lot of his guns that they didn't want to my local gun shop. And I just found this thing fascinating. So it's chambered in this ridiculously long 405 Winchester. It's in the Safari cartridge range. I believe technically it's even considered an elephant gun, because this is like big game. But there's not enough out there that I can Google 1898 Springfield Krag Jorgensen in 405 Winchester. What happens is the 1985 came in 405 Winchester, that has a little lever down here to cock. That's all that comes up. I can't find many or any examples of this. And well, the few examples I do see are people that are already. There's literally like 2 forums I saw that had people that had this. But again, you're talking about, like, I'm new to this, and these people are clearly well seasoned veterans of talking about this gun. So this wasn't new to them. So, like, they were talking about, like, reloading and advanced, I'm just trying to figure out what I'm looking at here. So, it is a 1898 Krag Jorgensen 405 Winchester, which is a big safari round, like I said. My understanding is that this is an actual 1898 year, so it's 120 years old. But at some point in time, somebody can change the. I don't even know. Is the barrel original? Can you take a 30-40 Krag barrel and make it a 405 Winchester? And if it's the case that this barrel's not original, that means they would have probably changed this stock out. So it means the stock's probably not original. So the only part that would be original would be the action, I guess. But I do. So, like I said, this guy was a well-respected NRA higher-up. And my gun shop guy said he's a gunsmith on the side, but he said that this guy was very well-respected. All his guns were kept very nice, so there should be no problem shooting this. So whenever I get the chance to find some 405 Winchester ammo that is not absolutely absurd on Gunbroker, I will be shooting this and probably breaking my shoulder. But this is a big, beefy, technically an elephant gun. And the other thing I found fascinating is, if this is what I think it is from doing my research, me and my friend played Red Dead Redemption 2 online a lot, and the elephant gun on the game is, I think, 577 Nitro Express. So, again, this is as probably close to something like that as I'll ever buy, but technically speaking, this is a Red Dead Redemption 2 era elephant gun. And me and my buddy we'd kill each other's horses or kill each other with that gun all the time once we saved up to buy it. It is an absolutely massive trigger, too. So it is very beautiful, and even if it's not the case that it's not even if you tell me everything's been replaced on it, it's still a 405 Winchester, and I'm not going to say the price I paid for this, but it was stupidly cheap compared to anything, even just the 30-40 Krag variants I saw on Gunbroker. Like, I'm talking like, well, you know what, I'll tell you, I don't care. Alright, actually, after thinking about it, I'll just tell you. I only paid $300 for this gun, and from everything I've seen on Gunbroker, and again, I can't find this exact configuration, but the peep sights, which are an upgrade, the 405 Winchester, but like the 30-40 Krag, especially in this good of a condition, is well into the thousands of dollars. So, and again, by looking at the serial number here and everything, I'm pretty sure this is actually from the 1898s. But even if everything here was counterfeit for whatever reason, and this was just a generic 405 Winchester gun, there's still no reason it should have been that cheap. Like, my gun shop was helping me out. He knows it's going to a good home that I'll shoot it, I'll take care of it. But I don't know, this one's definitely an oddball to me, Again, it's 120 years old, 405 Winchester. This is right up my alley. And I don't know. It's definitely an oddball, but this should be an absolute blast to shoot. There's the other end of the peep sight. And lastly, I'll finish off on something interesting. This bad boy. She is clear. I don't know if you can tell how, just absolutely polished this thing is. This is a Colt Anaconda. And I'm going to tell you, it is beautiful in person. But literally, as soon as you touch this thing, if you ever get a chance with a Colt Anaconda, just do this. Just do this. Again, I'm not trying to be loud. It is absolutely butter. I cannot explain how buttery smooth the action of this gun is. Very high polished. The lighting in my room's probably not doing it justice. It is just such a smooth, great feeling gun. This was not cheap by any means, but here's the story behind this one. And this is why I love firearms, because there's stories behind them. So not only is this a 44 Magnum Anaconda from Colt, which by itself is really cool, but to me it has a story. And that story is the gentleman, the NRA director, from the gun I just showed you. This was one of his guns. He just passed away. I want to say at this point it's been a month ago. He bought this gun. I think my gun shop said about 2 weeks before he passed. So he bought this. He even had scope rings because he was going to mount a scope to this. And he had my gun shop buy him scope rings and a scope. And then he was going to have the gun shop put it on it for him. And he passed before that happened. The scope rings came in, but not the sight. So we did get the scope rings for this. But technically it was used, but the gentleman never shot it before he passed. So, this thing is just, I cannot. There's no justice for this. How just buttery smooth this action is. It is ridiculous. But just, it is such a beautiful gun. I cannot wait to go out and shoot this. I'm waiting for the weather to get a little nicer. I'll set that aside for a second. I did go out pretty much last weekend, and I took this one and I took my Smith & Wesson and we fired them together, and let me tell you, the 440 grain out of this hurts worse than my Smith & Wesson, but the 275 felt really good. But we went out one night, we had some friends over, we were eating some subs, and we're like, you guys want to go out and shoot this thing? My gun shop had plenty of ammo that we just recently bought, and we all went over to the farm, and it was nighttime, so this thing was putting out a fireball. But anyway, so I have shot this. Let me double check. I haven't shot any of the other guns yet, but I couldn't wait on this one. I had to put some rounds through it. But maybe that'll be right here. I'll stage a quick thumbnail. How about that? Staged a little thumbnail for you guys. Maybe. I don't know. But that'll be it for today's video. Like I said, this is every gun that I've bought since the last gun haul video that I did, and I think that's pretty much, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, for me, we go literally once a week, me and my family. We go to the local gun shop, depending on my work schedule, but typically every Friday we go down to the local gun shop, buy a gun. Either I will, my brother will, or my dad will, and then we go to the local pizzeria, get some pizza, and take it home. If maybe have some friends over and show them the guns we bought, and overall it's a very fun time. Waiting for it to get a little warmer to go shoot these, but I think that's it for now. That's the other thing I really like about it is when you walk in that door on a Friday afternoon, I didn't know this was going to be there, or that, or that, or that. Like, you walk in not knowing what you expect. And some Fridays, you go there and really there's nothing new. It's just kind of, you just go just to talk about guns for an hour, whatever, and you leave empty-handed. But the times that he does have things, it's pretty special. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope you enjoyed. If you want me to continue this series in a couple months, when I've racked up a few more guns, let me know. But I hope you all enjoyed. If you have any suggestions, let me know. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.